Dear readers, this is a summary of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Origin, edition 1937. Enjoy listening. This is a summary of Chapter 1. Thoughts are things. Napoleon Hill opens the book by stating the central idea. Thoughts are powerful, tangible forces when combined with desire, faith, and persistence. The chapter introduces the concept that anyone can transform their thoughts into wealth or success by applying certain principles. He illustrates this with the inspiring story of Edwin C. Barnes, who had a burning desire to become a business partner of Thomas Edison. Despite having no money, education, or connection, Barnes' unwavering determination eventually led to a successful partnership. His story proves that focused thought, backed by relentless persistence, can bring about real results. Another powerful lesson is found in the story of R.U. Darby, who gave up mining just 3 feet from a gold vein, selling his equipment to a junk dealer who later became rich from it. Darby learned from this mistake and later applied the principle of persistence in selling insurance, becoming one of the top salesmen in the country. Hill emphasizes the importance of persistence, especially when facing temporary defeats, and highlights how many people fail because they quit too soon. He also tells a powerful anecdote about a little girl demanding 50 cents from a white man in the segregated South, standing her ground fearlessly until he gave in. This event deeply impacted Darby and taught him a lifelong lesson about determination and mental strength. The chapter concludes by stating that success begins with a mental state, a definiteness of purpose, and that wealth begins with becoming money conscious. Hill argues that the power of thought, magnetized by desire, attracts opportunities and people in harmony with those thoughts. He previews that the next chapters will outline the 13 principles that can help anyone turn thoughts into riches, gathered from studying 500-plus successful individuals over 25 years. He encourages readers to keep an open mind and warns against limiting beliefs, skepticism, and self-imposed mental poverty. This is a summary of Chapter 2, Desire. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill stresses that desire is the starting point of all achievement, not hope, not wishful thinking, but a burning, definite desire for a specific outcome. He distinguishes between a vague want and a clear, all-consuming obsession. The central example is Edwin C. Barnes, who had a singular desire to become a business partner of Thomas Edison. Even though he started with no money, education, or influence, Barnes persisted for 5 years until the opportunity came. And when it did, he was ready. His unwavering focus, willingness to do any job to get closer to his goal, and refusal to consider failure eventually transformed his dream into reality. Hill introduces the story of a warrior who burned his ships, forcing his army to fight for victory with no possibility of retreat. This metaphor illustrates that success requires total commitment, a mental state where defeat is not an option. He presents 6 practical steps to turn desire into riches. Define exactly how much money you want. 2. Determine what you'll give in return. 3. Set a deadline for achieving it. 4. Create a plan and begin immediately. 5. Write a clear, concise statement of your goal and plan. 6. Read it aloud twice daily, seeing and believing yourself already in possession of the money. Hill emphasizes that this method is backed by men like Andrew Carnegie and Thomas Edison. He explains that belief, imagination, persistence, and money consciousness are essential for success. The chapter then transitions to a deeply personal story. The author's own son, Blair, was born without ears and was expected to be deaf for life. But Hill, refusing to accept this, implanted in his son's mind the unwavering desire to hear. Over the years, with persistent encouragement and belief, Blair gradually developed hearing, first through bone conduction, then through a hearing aid. Ultimately, he turned his perceived disability into a powerful asset by helping others with hearing loss. The message is clear. Burning desire, when combined with faith and persistence, overrides limitations, even those set by nature. Hill concludes that nothing is impossible for the one who believes and desires with intensity. Whether you're seeking wealth, health, purpose, or transformation, it must begin with an intense and specific desire backed by belief. This is a summary of Chapter 3, Faith. In this chapter, Napoleon Hill introduces faith as the essential chemical that transforms desire into reality. Faith is not just belief. It's a powerful emotional state that, when combined with thought, influences the subconscious mind and activates the power of infinite intelligence. It is the foundation of all miracles, the antidote to failure, and the key to success. Faith in the subconscious mind. Faith is developed by autosuggestion, the practice of repeating positive affirmations and ideas with emotional conviction. Through repetition, the subconscious accepts these thoughts as truth and begins to act upon them. Just like someone can become a criminal by repeatedly thinking criminal thoughts, one can develop faith by feeding the mind positive, purposeful, and emotionally charged affirmations. The subconscious mind responds equally to positive and negative beliefs, meaning that fears and doubts can be just as influential as dreams and confidence. This is why people who believe they are destined for failure often fulfill that belief. Their subconscious brings it into reality. The formula for building self-confidence. Hill outlines a 5-point self-confidence formula, which includes believing in your ability to achieve your definite purpose. 2. Visualizing the person you want to become. 3. Reinforcing self-confidence daily. 4. Persisting until your goal is reached. 5. Committing to fairness, service, and belief in both self and others. This formula is meant to be memorized, spoken aloud daily, and internalized to induce unshakable faith in oneself and in one's goals. Faith in the power of thought. Thoughts, especially those mixed with emotion, like faith, love, or sex, are magnetized and attract similar thoughts from the ether, the universal energy field. These thoughts grow in power and eventually manifest as physical reality. Hill emphasizes that faith gives thoughts energy and direction, and the repetition of emotionally charged ideas plants them deeply in the subconscious. Examples of faith in action. Hill provides multiple inspiring examples. Abraham Lincoln, who failed repeatedly until faith and love awakened his inner greatness. Religious figures like Jesus, who exemplified the highest use of faith. Mahatma Gandhi, who unified 200 million people without money, weapons, or formal power, only through faith. Charles M. Schwab, whose faith in his idea led to the creation of U.S. Steel, a billion-dollar corporation born from a single speech and a burning belief. These stories prove that faith transforms intangible ideas into tangible success. Key takeaways. Faith is the catalyst that turns thought into reality. Autosuggestion is the primary tool to build faith by repeated affirmations. The subconscious mind responds to what you emotionally believe, not just what you logically think. You can fake it until you make it by acting as if your goals are already achieved. This tricks the subconscious into accepting them. Faith must be backed by desire, imagination, persistence, and action. This is a summary of Chapter 4, Autosuggestion, Thoughts. In this chapter, Hill explains that autosuggestion is the mechanism by which thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are voluntarily implanted into the subconscious mind, allowing those thoughts to influence behavior, decision-making, and ultimately, reality. What is autosuggestion? Autosuggestion, or self-suggestion, is the bridge between the conscious mind thinking and the subconscious mind acting. All thoughts, whether positive or negative, reach the subconscious mind only through autosuggestion, unless received directly from the ether as intuitive or spiritual inspiration. The conscious mind acts as a gatekeeper, choosing which ideas are passed down and embedded. The subconscious is fertile ground. The subconscious mind is like a garden. It will grow whatever is planted, whether weeds of fear and doubt, or seeds of belief and success. Autosuggestion is the method by which you consciously plant ideas, but it works only when thoughts are charged with emotion and belief. Using autosuggestion to achieve your goals, Hill re-emphasizes the 6 steps from Chapter 2 on desire, especially. 1. Write down a clear, detailed statement of the money you desire, the date you intend to have it, and what you will give in return. Repeat this statement aloud morning and night. See, feel, and believe you are already in possession of the money. Place the statement where you can read it daily and do so until it is memorized. Key insight: mere repetition of words is useless if not mixed with emotion, belief, and feeling. The subconscious only responds to emotionally charged instructions. Why autosuggestion works. Through repetition and faith, ideas are accepted by the subconscious and begin to shape reality. This process can strengthen self-confidence, reshape beliefs, and lead to real-world results. Autosuggestion can also be dangerous if misused. Negative thinking, repeated often, leads to failure and fear, just as positive thinking leads to growth and success. The power of imagination and expectation. Hill urges readers to begin visualizing success before the means or plans are fully clear. This activates imagination, which then helps create concrete plans. He emphasizes that you must act on the plans as soon as they come, no delay. The childlike approach. Hill encourages readers to practice autosuggestion like a child would, with innocence, belief, and persistence. Follow the instructions even if they seem abstract or unfamiliar. Over time, skepticism fades and faith takes root. Final instructions. Read this chapter aloud every night until you are fully convinced of autosuggestion's power. Underline la más poderosa pasajes. Treat this chapter as the core of the entire philosophy, the central method that connects desire to reality. Please indicate presence whenever possible. Key takeaways. Automation is the active tool that allows you to reprogram your subconscious. It works only when reinforced with repetition, emotion, and faith. Mastering autosuggestion is essential for transforming thought into financial or personal success. Doubt, fear, and negativity can be just as powerful, but destructive if allowed to dominate your thinking. This is a summary of Chapter 5, Specialized Knowledge. 2 types of knowledge. In general knowledge, broad and plentiful, but largely useless for making money, unless organized and applied toward a specific goal. Specialized knowledge, specific, organized, actionable information tied directly to a defined purpose, and essential for building wealth. Knowledge alone is not power, applied knowledge is power. Why specialized knowledge matters. Universities are filled with professors rich in general knowledge but often poor in wealth. To succeed financially, you must use specialized knowledge, organize it, and apply it through definite plans toward a clear objective. Education isn't just accumulating facts, it's developing the ability to get what you want without violating others' rights. Examples. Henry Ford had little formal schooling but was highly educated because he knew how to gather, organize, and use knowledge. Andrew Carnegie didn't personally know the technical side of steelmaking, but organized experts who did. Thomas Edison and Henry Ford both succeeded because they organized knowledge, not because they memorized facts. Sources of specialized knowledge. Hill lists key places to find the knowledge you need. Personal experience and education. 2. Experience and education through others, Higher Mind Group or Mastermind Alliance. 3. Public libraries. 4. Universities and colleges. Specialized courses, night schools, and correspondence courses. Successful people never stop learning. They constantly update their knowledge in line with their main purpose. The shift toward specialization. The depression and rapid changes in the economy made specialization essential. Companies are seeking individuals with highly focused skills. Graduates who are well-rounded plus specialized are favored. Schools must focus more on helping students find careers, not just stuffing them with general knowledge. Case studies. A salesman who lost his job during the Depression studied bookkeeping and built a successful mobile accounting service for small businesses. A mother helped her son get a job by preparing an outstanding personal portfolio, highlighting his abilities, suggesting ideas for the employer, and landing him a management role at a higher salary. Dan Halpin, starting by selling hearing aids on commission, rose to vice president by refusing to settle for mediocrity and aiming higher. Big lessons. Continuous learning is essential. Stopping education after school guarantees mediocrity. Planned action beats blind effort. You must organize your learning toward specific outcomes. Marketing personal services well by creating compelling self-promotion materials can multiply your value in the marketplace. Opportunity and success often come to those who plan creatively and act persistently, even starting from humble positions. Key points. Specialized knowledge is everywhere, but ideas and imagination to use it are rare. It's not enough to know things. You must combine knowledge with a purpose and take action. Success is largely a habit built through ambition, continuous learning, and seizing opportunity. Your starting point doesn't matter as much as your ability to plan, adapt, and keep moving up. Conclusion. Specialized knowledge, organized and directed toward a definite purpose, combined with imagination and persistent action, is the foundation of wealth. Anyone, regardless of their formal education, can succeed by using this formula. This is a summary of Chapter 6, Imagination. Imagination, the workshop of the mind. Imagination is the workshop where desire is shaped into action plans. It is the faculty through which all human-made advancements have come into existence. The more imagination is used, the stronger and more effective it becomes. Man's only real limitation is the development and use of his imagination. Two types of imagination: synthetic imagination, or rearranging old ideas, concepts, and plans into new combinations. O, it does not create new ideas, but rearranges existing material. O, used most often by inventors, entrepreneurs, and planners. 2. Creative imagination, direct communication between the finite mind and infinite intelligence. It produces new ideas, insights, and inspirations. O works best when the mind is stimulated by strong emotions, especially desire. It can also receive thoughts broadcast from other minds. Unlay, how imagination leads to wealth. Desire alone is just a thought. Imagination gives it form and action. All plans for accumulating money or manifesting success must be created through imaginative faculties. When you write down your desire and create a definite plan, you have begun to turn an intangible idea into a tangible reality. Every material thing started as an idea. Thoughts are truly things. On the Saba, Gan. Examples of imagination in action. Number 1. The Enchanted Kettle, Coca-Cola. Asa Candler turned a secret formula into a global empire through the power of imagination, marketing, and vision. Imagination plus faith plus action equals billions in wealth. 2. Dr. Frank Gonzalez's $1 Million Sermon. With a burning desire, a clear decision, and an act of faith, he obtained $1 million within 36 hours to found the Armor Institute. Definiteness of purpose and decision were the key. Unlay. Important lessons. Ideas are the starting points of all fortunes. Actionable ideas require imagination to combine knowledge, desire, and plans. Great fortunes are rarely built through hard work alone. They are built by harnessing powerful ideas. Persistence, clarity of purpose, and faith in your idea are essential. Unlay. Modern applications of imagination. Hill highlights radio as a booming opportunity for those with imagination at the time of writing. New industries and technologies constantly create open fields for imaginative thinkers. Success today, like yesterday, belongs to those who create or recognize valuable ideas early. Key points. The power of an idea can outlive its creator. Success comes to those who act on their ideas with faith and persistence, not by luck. You must build and train your imaginative faculties through use and focus. You are responsible for transforming your desires into plans and plans into actions through imagination. On the Saba, Gan. Conclusion. Imagination is the critical bridge between desire and achievement. Without it, goals remain formless dreams. By using synthetic imagination to organize old ideas and creative imagination to receive fresh inspiration, you can shape your future, accumulate wealth, and leave a lasting impact on the world. This is a summary of Chapter 7, Organized Planning. Planning is the crystallization of desire into action. Desire is the starting point. Imagination shapes desire into plans. Organized planning turns these plans into action. Without organized, adaptable plans, no great success is possible. How to build practical plans. Form a higher mind group, mastermind group, a dedicated team to help you create and carry out plans. Offer value to your team. No one works indefinitely for nothing. Offer compensation, money, opportunity, credit, etc. Meet regularly, at least twice a week, to refine plans. Maintain perfect harmony. Without it, your group's effectiveness is destroyed. A single mind rarely has enough experience, imagination, and power to accumulate a fortune alone. When plans fail, expect temporary defeats, but never quit. Failure of a plan only means that the plan was faulty, not that your goal is impossible. Persistently create new plans until you find one that works. Examples: Edison, 10,000 experiments; Ford, early failures; James J. Hill, financing the Great Northern Railway. Marketing personal services your skills. If you have no capital, you can still accumulate wealth by selling your personal skills effectively. Two classes of people. Leaders, higher rewards, but more responsibility. Followers, lower rewards, but still opportunities. You must choose early if you intend to lead or follow. Main qualities of effective leadership. Courage. 2. Self-control. Sense of justice. 4. Definiteness of decision. 5. Definiteness of plans. 6. Willingness to do more than paid for. 7. Pleasant personality. 8. Empathy and understanding. 9. Mastery of details. 10. Assumption of full responsibility. 11. Cooperation. Effective leaders lead through cooperation, not force. 10 causes of leadership failure. Inability to organize details. 2. Unwillingness to serve others. Number 3. Expecting pay based on what you know, not what you do. Fear of competition from followers. 5. Lack of imagination. 6. Egotism. 7. Intemperance. Bad habits. 8. Disloyalty. Number, overemphasizing authority. 10. Overemphasizing titles. The new business environment. Leadership now demands cooperation and service orientation toward customers and employees. The old forced command style is dead. Mutual respect is the new model. Selling yourself effectively, personal branding. Prepare an impressive file portfolio. Education, experience, references, photo, personal mission. Target specific companies with customized applications. Offer value, not just ask for jobs. Be ready to work temporarily unpaid to prove your worth. Research companies thoroughly before applying. Think like a marketer. You are selling services to your future employer. The QQS formula for success. Quantity of service. Spirit of service. Positive attitude. Both quality and quantity must be excellent, but spirit, your attitude, often determines long-term success. Self-analysis for improvement. Hill suggests an annual self-review based on 28 critical questions. Have you achieved your goals? Have you improved your service and efficiency? Have you persisted or procrastinated? Have you been loyal, fair, and self-controlled? This helps stay on track and adjust plans as needed. Where opportunities to build wealth exist. America offers unmatched freedom to create and accumulate wealth. Organized capital, banks, industries, commerce, makes the modern economy possible. Attacking capitalists or capitalism misunderstands the economic law. You must give value to get wealth. Freedom and opportunity are abundant, but success demands service, imagination, effort, and persistence. Conclusion. Organized planning transforms dreams into results. Plans must be practical, flexible, and created with the help of others. Temporary defeat is not failure, it's just feedback to adjust your methods. Ultimately, in a free society, your wealth is determined by how well you plan, serve, and persist. This is a summary of Chapter 8 Decision, the Mastery of Procrastination. 1. Decision is power. Lack of definite decision-making ranks near the top of the 30 major causes of failure. The opposite of decision is procrastination, a widespread and subtle enemy of success. Success comes to those who decide quickly and change slowly, if ever. Failure comes to those who decide slowly and change quickly and often. Analysis of successful people showed they made decisions fast and changed them slowly. 2. Examples of strong decision makers. Henry Ford insisted on continuing production of the Model T despite massive pressure. Though the car was outdated, his decisiveness led to immense wealth. Ford was sometimes obstinate, but better to be stubborn than to be a waffler. 3. Be wary of other people's opinions. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Most people are easily influenced by others, especially by family, friends, gossip, and media. Do not share your plans except with members of your higher mind, mastermind group, and only if they are in perfect harmony with your goal. Talking too much reveals your intentions to others who may try to steal or sabotage them. Keep your mouth closed and your mind open. 4. Tell the world after you've acted. Tell the world what you intend to do, but first show them. This quote captures the essence of leadership and success. Let your results speak louder than your words. 5. History is a story of decisions. All great achievements, including political revolutions and personal transformations, begin with a clear, bold decision. Key example: the American Revolution began with the decision of just a few men: Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and Richard Henry Lee. Their courage and clarity galvanized a nation. La corona de la independencia nació de una alianza alta que tomó una decisión definitiva, aún bajo amenaza de muerte. The spiritual force behind Washington's armies was the power of a unified, clear, and courageous decision. 6. How decision influences wealth. You must decide exactly what you want, choose your ideal employer, and plan how to obtain your goal. Do not settle for the first opportunity that shows up unless it matches your defined plan. Economic freedom, business success, and riches begin with clear and committed decision-making. Success is not accidental, it is demanded, planned, and earned. 7. The education system's major weakness. Schools do not teach or encourage the habit of making decisions. Most people float through life in jobs they didn't choose, simply because they never decided what they wanted. The habit of indecision is ingrained early and becomes a permanent limitation unless consciously reversed. 8. Decision requires courage. It takes courage to choose your own path, ask for what you want, and risk rejection, ridicule, or failure. But without that courage, you give up your power, and life decides for you. Number 9. Summary lessons. The definite decision is the keystone of personal power. The ability to decide firmly and act boldly is what separates leaders from followers. Indecision breeds stagnation, missed opportunities, and regret. Faith, persistence, and organized planning are fueled by firm decisions. Practical application. Review Chapter 7, Organized Planning, and act on it only after you make a clear decision on what you want, okay, who you want to work with, where and how you want to serve, and what price you're willing to pay to get it. Conclusion. The world steps aside for the person who knows where they're going. The habit of strong decision-making is foundational to all success. Whether it's founding a nation or building a fortune, the same force applies. Decide, then act. This is a summary of Chapter 9, Persistence. Key concept. Persistence is the essential factor that transforms desire into tangible reality. It is a combination of willpower and burning desire that, when combined, form an unstoppable force. Without persistence, success is almost impossible. Why persistence is crucial? It is the foundation of organized willpower. Willpower directed by a clear purpose and fueled by strong desire creates real results. It is the difference between success and quitting. Most people abandon their goals at the first sign of opposition. Great achievers, Ford, Carnegie, Edison, do not. It may not be glamorous, but it is essential. Persistence is to character what carbon is to steel, the element that tempers strength over time. Successful people are persistent. Leaders and successful individuals are unified by one trait. They apply the fundamental principles of wealth consistently. People like Fannie Hurst, Kate Smith, and W.C. Fields are concrete examples of how perseverance leads to triumph after countless rejections. Causes of persistence. Hill identifies 8 fundamental causes of persistence. Definite purpose, clear and strong motivation. Burning desire, emotional fuel that powers action. 3. Self-confidence, belief in one's ability. 4. Definite plans, even imperfect ones, as long as they exist. 5. Accurate knowledge, certainty that plans are sound. 6. Cooperation, harmonious work with others, as in a mastermind group. 7. Willpower, focused and trained towards an objective. 8. Habit. Persistence is developed through mental conditioning. Signs of lack of persistence. Hill lists 16 symptoms, including procrastination, indecision, lack of clear goals, fear of criticism, compromising with failure, vague desires, etc., that reveal weakness of character and prevent success. The most dangerous? Fear of what others might think. 4 steps to develop persistence. Definite purpose backed by a burning desire. 2. A definite plan expressed through continuous action. A closed mind against all negative and discouraging influences. 4. A friendly alliance with one or more people who encourage and support. The invisible force that rewards persistence. Hill suggests there is a hidden guide that tests individuals through defeat and hardship. Only those who persist are admitted to success. This force rewards not only with material wealth, but with the deep realization that every adversity carries within it the seed of an equivalent benefit. Historical examples and final message. The story of Muhammad is cited as a powerful example of how persistence, purpose, and faith created one of the most impactful movements in history. Hill concludes that persistence, concentrated effort, and a definite purpose are the shared forces behind every successful person, whether in ancient times or today. Final message. Anyone can develop persistence. It is not innate but built. Those who possess it can achieve anything they clearly define, passionately desire, and continuously pursue. This is a summary of Chapter 10, The Power of the Higher Mind. Key concept. Power is necessary both to accumulate and maintain wealth. Power is the organized application of knowledge combined with action toward a definite goal. It is created through coordinated effort, especially using the principle of the higher mind. Sources of power. Power comes from organized knowledge, drawn from 3 main sources. Infinite intelligence accessed through creative imagination. Accumulated experience, books, education, history. 3. Experimentation and research, scientific discovery, and personal innovation. To convert knowledge into power, it must be organized into definite plans and put into continuous action. The role of the higher mind. The higher mind is the coordination of knowledge and effort between 2 or more people in perfect harmony. No individual can accumulate great power or achieve extraordinary success without using a higher mind group. 2 aspects of the higher mind. All economic, tangible collaboration and teamwork. All psychic, a third invisible mind created by the harmonious fusion of multiple minds, generating a higher level of thought energy. Examples of higher mind power. Andrew Carnegie attributed his immense fortune to the higher mind principle, surrounding himself with about 50 trusted advisors. Henry Ford overcame poverty, ignorance, and lack of education through associations with great minds like Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, Luther Burbank, and John Burroughs. Mahatma Gandhi wielded massive power passively by uniting millions under a spirit of harmony and a definite goal, without force, a real-world miracle of the higher mind in action. The energy metaphor. The brain is compared to an electric battery. One brain equals some energy. Multiple brains harmonized equals amplified and accelerated thinking energy. The higher mind increases each participant's personal brain power by giving access to a larger, combined energy pool. Access to infinite intelligence. When minds are coordinated harmoniously toward a definite end, they become aligned with the universal source of infinite intelligence, the ultimate source of true infallible power. This explains why successful leaders often seem guided or inspired beyond ordinary human abilities. Wealth versus poverty, the river of life. Life is compared to a river with two currents: positive emotions, faith, desire, persistence equals flow toward wealth. Negative emotions, fear, doubt, procrastination equals flow toward poverty. Success depends on consistently remaining on the positive side of the river. Plans, definite purpose, and higher mind alliances act like oars to help cross or stay on the right side. Wealth must be attracted consciously, while poverty creeps in automatically if one is not vigilant. Final message. The higher mind principle is a real, accessible power for anyone. It is the bridge between desire and achievement, between dreams and riches. Master it, and you can shift your destiny toward lasting abundance. This is a summary of Chapter 11, The Mystery of Sexual Transmutation. Key concept. Sexual energy, when redirected and transmuted, becomes a powerful creative force behind genius, wealth, and success. Rather than being repressed or wasted, it should be channeled into higher, more productive purposes. Main ideas. Transmutation means changing sexual energy into other forms of activity, such as art, invention, business achievement, or leadership, rather than only seeking physical expression. Sexual desire is the most powerful human emotion. When redirected, it fuels imagination, courage, persistence, willpower, and creativity. Men who achieve greatness often have highly developed sexual natures, which they have learned to control and redirect. Key points. Suppressing or ignoring sex energy is harmful. Transmuting it into creative work is the key. Sexual energy stimulates the mind and body far more intensely than any other stimulus. Successful people often use creative imagination, fueled by highly stimulated emotions, sex being the most powerful among them. The 10 major mental stimuli. The mind responds most strongly to these stimuli. 1. Desire for sexual expression. 2. Love. 3. A burning desire for fame, power, or money. 4. Music. 5. Friendship. 6. Higher mind alliances. 7. Shared suffering. 8. Autosuggestion. 9. Fear. 10. Drugs and alcohol destructive stimuli. Sexual desire ranks first for its intensity. The link between sex, genius, and the sixth sense. Genius arises when one raises the mind's vibrational frequency high enough to access the sixth sense, or creative imagination. The creative imagination is the bridge between the finite mind and infinite intelligence. Most revelations, inventions, and inspired ideas come through this higher vibrational state. Historical and modern examples. Great figures like Napoleon, Lincoln, Shakespeare, Caruso, and Washington had strong sexual energies that they channeled into their achievements. Many geniuses were inspired by women who awakened their creative potential. Without proper control, sexual energy leads to waste and ruin instead of creation and greatness. Why many men succeed after age 40. Younger men often waste sexual energy through overindulgence. By age 40, many learn consciously or unconsciously to transmute this energy into higher purposes. The peak creative and productive years are typically between 40 and 60. Sex energy is personal magnetism. Sex energy is the source of personal magnetism, critical in leadership, sales, speaking, and influence. It expresses itself through the handshake, tone of voice, body posture, thought vibrations, and physical appearance. Love, sex, and romance, the eternal triangle. Love spiritualizes and refines sex energy. Romance adds inspiration and vision. Together, these three emotions unlock the highest levels of genius and happiness. Without love, sex energy can lead to destruction. With love, it creates miracles. The final message. Sexual transmutation is the secret that distinguishes the ordinary from the extraordinary. It is not repression, but redirection toward a higher creative purpose. Through persistence, willpower, and intelligent management, anyone can use this great force to achieve success, happiness, and greatness. This is a summary of Chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind. The subconscious mind is a powerful field of awareness where every thought received through the five senses is quoted automatically. It operates day and night independently, constantly working to manifest the thoughts mixed with the strongest emotions, especially faith. The subconscious is the bridge between the finite mind, our conscious thoughts, and infinite intelligence, the universal source of all knowledge and power. You cannot fully control your subconscious directly, but you can influence it deliberately by feeding it specific, emotionally charged thoughts. Plans, desires, and goals must be implanted into the subconscious mind with emotion, particularly with positive emotions like faith, desire, love, sex energy, enthusiasm, romance, and hope. If you fail to consciously implant positive thoughts, your subconscious will naturally absorb negative thoughts from your environment. Thoughts are things, and they attract their physical equivalents depending on whether they are positive or negative. The subconscious mind responds best to emotionalized thoughts, not just logical, cold reasoning. Positive emotions must be consciously cultivated, while negative emotions, fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, anger, naturally creep in if not vigilantly guarded against. Only one type of emotion can dominate the mind at a time, either positive or negative. You must consciously choose positivity. Prayer and communication with infinite intelligence happen through the subconscious mind. But they work only if prayers are saturated with faith and positive emotion, not fear or doubt. The subconscious mind functions similarly to radio transmission. Thoughts must be intensified to a higher vibration through faith and emotion before they are broadcast to infinite intelligence. Faith, persistence, patience, and sincerity are essential to effectively transmit thoughts to infinite intelligence. Mechanical or rote prayers recited without emotion, is ineffective. Only genuine emotional communication matters. This is a summary of Chapter 13, The Brain. The human brain is both a transmitting and receiving station for thought vibrations, much like a radio. Creative imagination acts as the receiver, picking up thoughts from other brains through the ether. When the brain is stimulated by emotions, especially positive emotions like faith, desire, love, sex, its vibrational frequency increases, allowing it to receive and transmit thoughts more effectively. Sexual emotion is the strongest human emotion and creates the highest vibrational frequency, making the brain highly receptive and powerful in transmitting thoughts to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind serves as the transmitting station, while autosuggestion acts as the method to set the brain's transmission machinery in motion. The greatest forces in life, like gravity, electricity, and thought, are intangible and invisible, but extremely real and powerful. Modern science is still in its early stages of understanding the brain's immense capabilities. Recent studies, such as Dr. Ryan's work on telepathy and clairvoyance at Duke University, confirm that extrasensory perception, ESP, is real and operates outside physical senses. Thought transmission does not diminish over distance, suggesting that minds are linked beyond the limits of space. Through mental stimulation in groups similar to the higher mind concept described earlier, Individuals can combine their brain's powers to solve complex problems and access deeper sources of knowledge. The roundtable method, where small groups discuss and focus on a defined problem, can trigger access to infinite intelligence and creative ideas otherwise unavailable through solitary thinking. The key takeaway: the brain's real power lies in emotions, creative imagination, and cooperation with others to reach higher levels of insight and problem solving. This is a summary of Chapter 14, The Sixth Sense. The sixth sense is the final and highest principle in the philosophy of success, acting as the link between the human mind and infinite intelligence. It functions through creative imagination, enabling individuals to receive intuitions, inspirations, and warnings about dangers and opportunities without conscious effort. The sixth sense cannot be fully understood or utilized without first mastering the other 12 principles: desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, persistence, the mastermind, the subconscious mind, the brain, and sexual transmutation. It is beyond description. One must experience it through personal mental development, meditation, and application of all previous lessons. Developing the sixth sense is similar to gaining a guardian angel, a personal advisor that opens access to higher wisdom. The author shares his experience with invisible counselors, where he imagined nightly meetings with historical figures like Emerson, Lincoln, Napoleon, Ford, Edison, and others, to absorb their qualities through autosuggestion and mental rehearsal. These fictional yet vivid experiences helped him build strength of character, generate creative ideas, and access deeper knowledge through heightened intuition. The sixth sense is triggered most often during states of intense emotional stimulation, particularly during emergencies or moments of high creativity. Almost all great leaders, including Ford, Edison, Napoleon, Lincoln, and others, likely made frequent use of the sixth sense, whether consciously or unconsciously. Mastery of the sixth sense generally comes later in life, often after years of meditation, reflection, and serious mental training, typically after the age of 40 or 50. Although understanding and using the sixth sense is not necessary for accumulating wealth, it is essential for reaching the highest levels of personal achievement, wisdom, and happiness. Ultimately, the sixth sense enables individuals to transform desire into its physical or financial equivalent more easily, and to live in deep harmony with themselves and the forces of life. This is a summary of Chapter 15, How to Outwit the Six Ghosts of Fear. Before success is possible, you must clear your mind of 3 destructive enemies: indecision, doubt, and fear. These 3 are deeply interconnected. Indecision leads to doubt, which fuses into fear. The 6 primary fears that afflict every human being are: fear of poverty. 2. Fear of criticism. 3. Fear of ill health. 4. Fear of loss of love. 5. Fear of old age. 6. Fear of death. All other fears are variations of these 6, and often people suffer from multiple fears simultaneously. Fear is a state of mind, and the mind can be controlled through conscious effort. Breakdown of the 6 primary fears. 1. Fear of poverty, the most destructive fear. Symptoms: indifference, indecision, doubt, worry, excessive caution, procrastination. Kills initiative, enthusiasm, self-confidence, and encourages failure. 2. Fear of criticism. Originates from historical fear of punishment and rejection. Symptoms: embarrassment, lack of self-confidence, personality weakness, inferiority complex, lack of initiative. 3. Fear of ill health. Often self-induced by suggestion and worry. Symptoms: hypochondria, focus on sickness, susceptibility to disease through negative thinking. 4. Fear of loss of love. Rooted in jealousy and suspicion. Symptoms: distrust, fault-finding, gambling, extravagant spending to buy affection, insomnia. 5. Fear of old age. Comes from the fear of poverty and fear of being useless. Symptoms: slowing down unnecessarily, feeling inferior, trying to act or appear younger. Fear of death. Fueled historically by religious dogma. Symptoms: constant brooding about death, loss of joy in life, succumbing to superstition. Death is a natural and inevitable transition, not something to be feared. Additional insight. Worry is a slow but deadly killer of ambition and initiative. It stems from indecision and can be conquered by decisive action. Negative influences, the seventh primary evil, susceptibility to negative thoughts and people, is as dangerous as the six fears. Controlling the mind means choosing the thoughts you allow and closing your mind to negative influences. Key practices to defeat fear. Self-analysis. A deep, honest self-assessment helps detect hidden fears and negative tendencies. Definiteness of purpose. Occupying the mind with a clear major goal prevents fear from dominating. Autosuggestion. Repeatedly feeding positive thoughts and beliefs to the subconscious mind. Decisiveness. Act swiftly and firmly to build mental strength against fear and doubt. Mental discipline. Constantly guard against mental laziness and negative influences. Closing messages. Excuses, alibis for failure must be recognized and eliminated. Success demands self-responsibility. Mind control is the key to controlling destiny. If you don't master your mind, it will master you. Life is a chessboard. Time is the opponent. Indecision leads to inevitable loss. The reward for mastering fear and controlling the mind is the ability to shape your own future, achieve wealth, happiness, and fulfillment. This chapter is a powerful call to action. Eliminate fear from your mind, conquer yourself, and take control of your life. Thank you for listening to this video. If you found it useful, please subscribe to the channel and give it a like. See you in the next video.